The free legendary is getting a ton of negative press from a lot of the mid-game and late-game players on the internet. A lot of famous big-time YouTubers are not saying some great things about Ludex Artor, an absolutely free legendary Sacred Order champion. But are they missing the point? Let's talk about it a little bit. What is up, Raiders of Teleria? My name is Charlie. This is New Raiders Only. And if this is your first time joining me, I like to do educational, entertaining videos for the early, free-to-play, and budget Raid Shadow Legends player. And if you're thinking about starting Raid Shadow Legends, I've got an exclusive offer, a URL in the description box and the pinned comment and the QR code over there for 4 great champions, starting with the epic support Uugo, ending up with Chonoru at level 50. And of course, day 1, you can get a fantastic attack legendary, the Supreme Gallic. You can get Sun Wukong, you can get Alice, or you can get Loki. It's a support champion. All great options, all on day 1. But that's not what we're going to talk about here, or are we going to talk about that right here? So first and foremost, Ludex Artor. What do we know about this champion, aside from the fact that he's absolutely gorgeous? He's aura farming so hard in this outfit. Goodness gracious. So this individual is a support champion for the Sacred Order. We can take a quick look at some of his stats. He's got a 102 base speed, which is not terrible. It's pretty good, actually, for a free champion, especially a legendary. His A1, his primary attack, is an area effect attack that heals all allies 5% of this champion's max health. So one of the things that you're going to want to look at is potentially putting a lot of plus health, plus HP artifacts on this guy, either the set itself or artifact pieces that has plus health on there. A lot of negative criticism starts here that the heal is too weak for a legendary champion. We'll touch on that, I guess, in a little bit later. His second ability, Incense of Inspiration. This is a 5-turn cooldown, so it better be a strong ability. A 50% increase attack buff on allies, 25% strengthen buff on allies for 2 turns. So 2 turns up, 3 turns down. That's how math works. 5 minus 2, right? Also fills the turn meters of all allies by 15%. If you book this guy up, if you get lucky and get level 2 and level 3 on this skill, it reduces the cooldown down to 3 turns. So every 3rd turn, you're going to get that the 2-turn buff, which is pretty nice. So you cast it, you wait 3 turns, it's going to be gone for 1 turn, and then you cast it again. Very, very nice. Increase attack and strengthen, both very good offensive buffs. The third ability, Revival Mandate, revives an ally with 50% health and 50% turn meter. Also places a 50% increase attack buff on that ally for 1 turn. Then activates the revived ally's default skill, targeting the enemy with the lowest health. That's pretty interesting. Depending on who you end up pairing Ludex Artor with in your team, it could be very strong. It could be just random. You know, like I said, it really just depends on who dies, right? And of course, a 6-turn cooldown reduced down to 4 as you level this guy up. This guy, he's starting to feel a little bit like you got to put a bunch of books into him in order for his skills to actually be impactful in a fight. Otherwise, he's just going to be standing around a whole lot doing, you know, whatever. And the fourth ability, excuse me, this is a 4-turn cooldown, sentenced to life if an enemy is killed by an ally's default skill after being revived with Revival Mandate, right? The Revival Mandate ability, which has a 6-turn cooldown, or 4 if it's booked up, is completely reset, which is pretty nice. And then, of course, this will reduce its cooldown down to 3. So this is probably the weakest of them all. Does stack, but your champion has to die and then also get revived and kill the enemy, which happens not infrequently, but you know, it is what it is, something you got to consider. And then finally, the aura increases ally speed in arena battles by 25%. Okay, so there's a lot of comparison with a couple of other champions. First and foremost, Noelle and Alice. If you got Alice, if you were playing in March and you were able to get Alice for free, then you can get an opportunity using this champion instead. And the argument is between Alice and Noelle, you know, any Sacred Order only activities are going to be covered. But the problem is, first of all, you have to have gotten Alice. And of course, you can use a new player code on day 1 or 2 to get Alice if you want to lean into the Sacred Order. I personally prefer the Supreme Gallic as the free champion for day 1. The free legendary champion for day 1, excuse me, because he's a void affinity. He's got the health burn. I just think he's slightly better than Alice and, of course, Sun Wukong, depending on, obviously what your goals are with your account. Between the two of them, you're going to be good. But you're talking about 2 legendaries that you have to have. Alice being a strong attack and Noelle being a pretty good support. Also, both incredible looking champions, just really, really cool look. All the legendaries champions in this game are really cool looking. I don't really want to get into the weeds too much about the abilities of Alice and Noelle. Just know that they're considered, 2 not impossible to get legendaries, or at least they were. And if you've been playing for a while, it is what it is. But the thing is like, we can't forget about new players. Like, what if you were a new player? Like, I don't have Alice. I started this account after the Alice promotion period ended. And obviously I don't have Noelle. Noelle and Nicholas were, I think, the winter champions. Obviously we're looking at Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus here. A little bit of IP, that's okay. No big deal. So that argument to me is kind of a moot one, especially if you're talking to newer players. If you're talking to like mid to late game players, then yeah, that's a completely valid argument. Sure, get Ludex Artor, summon him, and then just keep him in your vault or whatever, because you're never going to use him because you have better champions that are already leveled up. Maybe you've already invested a ton of books or what have you into them, and you don't need Ludex. But the new player, the budget player, doesn't have either of those champions, and that makes Ludex Artor great. A turn meter filler, a reviver, area of effect damage, some heals. Come on, why not? The other argument is that there's a relatively easy champion to get named Mordecai, but looking through this champion's skills, I'm just not really seeing the comparison. You're looking at obviously a Sacred Order support champion here. Looks pretty cool. Not quite as cool looking as some of the other legendaries that we've talked about here. It just to me, there's no comparison. I guess, once this guy gets built up a little bit, accuracy increase is something. His attacks all do, have a nice little buff. Fill the turn meter of all allies by 15%. You have increased attack, 50% increased attack for 3 turns. And then the decreasing enemies turn meter and also the HP burn. It's not a bad set of skills. Just comparing him to Ludex Artor, and how much better this guy looks and how much better this guy's going to look on the battlefield. So, we can't forget about the new guys. We can't forget about the free-to-play and the budget players, which is exactly the kind of player that I want to be associated with, to be honest with you. But that's okay if it's not the case. Always, it is what it is. So this guy being absolutely free, so long as you log in, the way that this works, the reward calendar works. You can see I started this account 4 days ago. Excuse me. You don't miss the souls for this champion. They're guaranteed, even if you miss them. The other ones you have to actually be logged in, and click on the day. This is like an advent calendar kind of thing. You get access to them. You'll get enough of the souls or whatever to summon Ludex Artor for absolutely nothing, for free. Of course, then you just gotta invest some books into them and all of that. And then at the end you get a nice relic to go with it. Looks like the Wand of Submission is by far in the lead. So let me know in the comment section down below, how are you feeling about our free Sacred Order legendary Ludex Artor? He's not a void legendary. He doesn't have the most broken abilities. He's no Armands. He's no, whatever. Are we just going to hold off for Arbiter? Are we just going to hold off for... he's free. Like, what are we even talking about? He's free. You're going to get him. If he's the best option for you for, Sacred Order champions, then you're going to build him up. It's that simple. If he's not, then you're not, What am I talking about? Leave a comment or not, I guess. Anyway, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you are considering playing Raid Shadow Legends, please use my exclusive URL in the description, linked in the comments and pinned in the comments, or the QR code over there on the right side of your screen. I don't get any money out of it or anything like that. It just would mean a lot if you would join me in my travels. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. I love you all. Good luck in Teleria.